Salute to all the diehards. This is Die Hard Giants, and I am your host. I am Jarrell on IG and Twitter. Salute to the New York Liberty for theirs game two win over the Aces. I know this is a big night for New York sports, so I figured I'd start the show after the game. But we're going to talk about these Giants. I got Steph in the background. Hold on one second. You good, Steph? Hey,
Hey,
what's up,
hey,
Steph? You was watching the game too, huh?
I was watching the game too. And I was like, you thought they had it in hand. Like, let me go log on. And
Right, right,
then
right.
something else would happen. You'd be like, this is going to the wire.
Because I was already running late, and plus I was watching the game too. So I was like doing a whole bunch of things, but I figured I'd start the show at 9:30. But I was like, "Look, the game is taking super long. Like the last 5 minutes seemed like it took
Right.
forever. I was like, Aces, man, y'all just fold already, so I can start the show.
They
But salute,
champs. You know they're gonna.
right, man. Like, but salute to Sabrina, salute to Stewie with the dagger at the end with the
Yeah,
free
for
throws. You know what I
sure.
mean? We
For
played
sure.
good. Played good defense. Yeah, we got to talk about these Giants. Wonder Woman, salute Wonder Woman.
Salute.
She was probably watching the game too. That's why everybody probably gonna come in sooner or later. Any while I get this over here, any like real quick thoughts over the game? Like I hope everybody enjoyed their Sunday. It was stress free.
Yeah.
We didn't have to watch, our Giants play. So we just get to, if you did want to watch football, that was just a great day to just watch some games and be stress free. But any like initial thoughts about it?
I thought it was a hard fought game. Um, the Giants was in it. The
Mhm.
Giants was in it. I think if Daniel Jones, and I'm not saying this game was because we lost because of Daniel Jones. That's not what I'm
Mhm.
saying at all. But what I'm saying is if he's able to get that long ball back together,
Hmm.
um, the Giants might, well, they 1-3. What is they 1-3 now?
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. But I thought there was two critical times in the game. I want to say two, definitely one, when we needed that fourth down and he underthrew um, the receiver. But
Mhm.
they came out, they played tough. They came out and played tough.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Daniel Jones, man, Daniel Jones. We did not lose the game because of the underthrows or overthrows
Hmm.
or any of the long ball stuff, right?
Hmm.
He's actually played a pretty good game. Like when it comes to the short and the intermediate stuff, Daniel Jones almost looked like a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, don't he? Like he on point, on target.
Hmm.
Ball is coming out quickly. Well, maybe not that quickly, but yeah, the offensive line is working. It's just
Sure.
it's just that like I've been saying every week this season that his long ball isn't there anymore. I don't know what it is. It could be a knee issue because you do need your knees and your legs to plant when you throw the ball, especially when you got 300-pound men trying to
Hmm.
run and hit you. He had multiple neck injuries. One of them ended up like being a real important surgery that he had, because I don't think he had surgery the second time that he hurt it, but the first time that he hurt it,
Right.
it was a big injury, and ever since then, like I don't know, the accuracy just isn't there.
Right.
I've noticed. I watched the game a couple times, right? I've noticed that it's not just that he doesn't have the arm strength.
Hmm.
It's not that, because I've seen some instances where he actually overthrew the wide receiver.
Hmm.
I don't think it's something just not connecting with the accuracy, or
Right.
I don't
Right.
know if he's too scared to overthrow or underthrow. He just like his arm isn't calibrated right. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Because because a couple throws, especially in the first 2 weeks of the season, he actually overthrew receivers. One of them, he overthrew Jalen Hyatt by like 10 or 15 yards. And to overthrow Jalen Hyatt, who runs a 4.2 4.3,
Right.
that means he didn't know where the hell he was throwing he just threw it. And I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. you could tell by the way that, Brian Dable is calling plays that he knows something is wrong.
Right.
And and plus, I think that's the main reason someone like Jalen Hyatt, who is a like a long ball specialist,
Mhm.
play at all. And I don't think he doesn't have a reception all season.
Wow.
And this is
How many
after
targets? He's how many time forget targets. How many times has he been on the field
I think they had I had a little stat count in my head. I think he played like 13 to 15 snaps maybe.
for the entire season?
No, for the entire game, just the game
Oh,
on.
oh,
Like
that
he's
game.
out
Okay.
there. It's not like they
Mhm.
forgot that he was available. Like he's available, but he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing when he's out there. And when it comes to targets, Malik Neighbors and Wandell Robinson, as you can see on the screen, they're the only ones getting targets. Like it's not even just a Jalen Hyatt thing. Even Slayton's not getting that many targets. Our tight ends seem like they've been pretty much non-existent.
Yeah.
Like Daniel Bellinger, he's been a target in the passing game the couple years that he's been here. Even when Darren Waller was here last year, Daniel Bellinger still got a couple targets a game. Maybe he was you had to account for him when he was on the field. Now it seems like he's not even out there. Like I don't even see any tight ends um,
Mhm.
in our like offensive progression,
Mhm.
even to try to get them the ball. Maybe the rookie Johnson, but I think he had one target last game with no catches, and Daniel Bellinger didn't have any catches either. Like that's saying a lot, man. Like Malik Neighbors, yes, he's obviously a very very good player, and he's a rookie. But for him to get 15 targets, 12 receptions on 115, yes, he's unguardable when it comes to man on man. But you can tell Brian Dable is actually trying to scheme him open. It seems as though Brian Dable can't scheme anybody else open though.
But what I'm saying is he need a little I mean, there needs to be some diversity in the targets. It's like play after play after play. Neighbors, neighbors, neighbors. I said, and don't get me wrong, he was coming through, but I was like, is he gotta be tired or wearing down? Like
Right.
spread it around a little bit.
Yep. Yep. You could tell he was gassed at one point.
Yeah.
I saw him actually had his hands on his knees at one point. I was like, yeah, y'all gonna have to give him a blow. Like the targets for Wandell Robinson, you see his 11 catches for 71 yards. That's not even. That's like 6 yards a target,
Right.
6 yards a catch. I'm saying, but so those are just all dump passes. Like Danny Dimes is turned to like Danny check down. Like there's no throws being thrown like past 15 to 20 yards, but
Yeah.
it's hard to complain when he goes like 29 for 20 for 32, 29 for 33. Like Daniel Jones had from a statistical standpoint, an awesome game.
Hmm.
Can't say anything bad about him except for the long balls, of course. But yeah, I'm looking at the stats now. Theo Johnson had one catch for 6 yards yesterday. Darius Slayton had three catches. I don't have them on the screen, so because I only usually put up three people up here. I don't have the running game on here because Devin Singletary. I don't know what the hell his problem was that day, but he definitely did not come to play. He had 14 carries for 24 yards on 1.7 yards a carry. I
Right.
refuse to put that up there on the screen, so I just put two wide receivers up there. I usually go, passing, running, and catching, but I refuse to put that up there.
But him too. But I listen, as much as the offensive line is doing a good job for Daniel Jones in terms of pass blocking, the
Hmm.
run blocking is just not there against a Dallas team. They gave up what over 200 something yards the week before on the ground
Worst in the league
for that would for last week or just for the season.
for the season. Worst rushing defense in the
And the
league.
Giants I think had 26 rushing yards.
Hmm.
Like
Yep.
wow.
But 26 rushing yards are like 24 carries.
Right.
So it's not like we didn't run the ball.
Right.
We just ran into a brick wall every time we did. Like I don't know
Wow.
what that is because our offensive line when it comes to pass blocking, when you look at them, you can tell it's communication. They up there passing people along, and then like the
Right.
pocket is clean.
Right.
But
Right.
when it come to rushing, I don't know what it is. It's like they
Mhm.
didn't work on it in the offseason. Like they just wanted to protect Daniel Jones, and that's it.
Right.
Like y'all got to run the ball too. And Devin Singletary isn't, he's obviously not Saquon Barkley. So, and I know he wears the same number. He's replacing him, but I don't want to compare the two because
Right.
they are completely two different type
Right.
of
Right.
players. Like
Right.
one is a Hall of Fame talent, Pro Bowler type. Singletary is serviceable. He's not like a bum or anything. Like he should be on your team, but he's more of a like a third down scat back coming out of the backfield on passing downs and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I don't really look at him as an every down back in the NFL.
Right.
But that's how that's just how our roster is constructed now. I think
Right.
personally, I didn't want to bring this up because I haven't all season so far. I think
Mhm.
it was a huge mistake letting go of Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't think it was a smart decision then, but even in hindsight now,
Right.
like him and Devin Singletary got like the same dead cap space.
Right.
So they can't use the money as an excuse. For some reason, they just wanted him out of there.
Right.
I think it was a leadership thing. Um, I
But
don't
why?
know.
I mean, you're not keeping Daniel Jones. Like I can see like what's going on in Minnesota. Like, you know what? We're gonna move towns for various reasons,
Hmm.
but one of them is so everybody knows who team this is.
Right.
So you moving Barkley, it's not like you had long-term plans for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, but I guess they're thinking traditionally running back isn't usually the leader of the team, and I don't know. Maybe they just thought that the other guys were undermanned or undermined
Mm,
Daniel Jones in some way, but they haven't though. At least they haven't to the public. I
right,
thought everything was all good. Saquon Barkley wasn't known as like a cancer to the organization or the locker room.
right.
He was like NFL Man of the Year candidate type dude. So I really don't get it. It obviously wasn't a money thing.
Mhm.
Um, I really don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
This is something that it seemed like we're going to find out what's going to happen like on the 30 for 30 like 20 years from now after Saquon retires and his story comes up on ESPN, like the
Mhm.
story of Saquon Barkley and why the hell did the Giants get rid of him in the first place.
Right, right.
But other than that, it's really no real good reason that he's not on this football team. And
Right.
plus to lose him to the Eagles. Ugh,
Mhm.
yeah. But yeah, the defense was it wasn't bad, but it wasn't necessarily good either. Our pass rush was kind of non-existent. Kayvon Thibodeau got a sack, but he was going up against a rookie left tackle.
Mhm.
Um, Dexter Lawrence was actually going up against a rookie center as well, but they double teamed him a lot, so he got a couple pressures, and I think one quarterback hit, but he didn't really have a huge impact on the game either. Brian Burns was completely invisible. He didn't do anything, but I think he made like one or two good plays in the run game. But when it came to pass rushing, yeah, they completely. Um, I don't know. I don't know what they did with him. They just he just didn't play at all. Like I'm looking at him because I was rewinding the game and stuff. I was like, let's see what he did. He pretty much just got locked up by underachieving tackle. Like I don't
Mm.
for him to be coming in as our number one pass rusher with the type of money that he commands now on the salary cap.
Right.
If he don't get his game up, we might be in trouble
Yeah.
because that's not a contract you can trade either.
Right.
So we'll see where that goes. Had a couple
Can't miss. You can't miss. There's certain things you can't miss on and expect to advance as a team,
right or
right?
organization or to keep your job.
Or to keep your or to keep your
That's the
job.
main
Right.
thing to keep your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler Nubin, rookie 8 tackles, but he didn't really have that much. Like he had a couple bad angles on CD Lamb.
Mhm.
Uh, not pictured here is Deontay Banks. He had a tough game. Another tough game against
Another tough game, right?
another tough game, but it's another Pro Bowl caliber, All Pro wide receiver that he had to try to lock up man to man too. Like it's not like they gave him a lot of help with CD Lamb, and CD Lamb is an all world wide receiver.
Right.
So yeah, he went off in the second half. Like I got the Dallas stuff up here, the Dallas players up here, but yeah, our defense, I don't know, it's just much to be desired. But they did play better than they have been, especially the first couple games. But
Mhm.
yeah, the whole Dallas to 20 points, you really can't be mad at that. But we didn't score any touchdowns on offense, so it really doesn't matter.
Mhm.
So with Dallas, Dak Prescott doesn't look like it. 22 completions, a little over 200 yards, but he had a great game. Like he was picking us apart. Um, I think the second half,
Yeah.
he kind of slowed down, but in the first half, him and CD Lamb was going crazy. CD Lamb, you could see almost had 100 yards and a touchdown, 7 receptions.
Just 7 receptions.
Yeah, it looked like he was. It looked like it was 17, but it was only 7 receptions
But it was
for
impactful though.
right.
98 is that 98 yards on 7 receptions.
Yep, 98 yards. He didn't even crack 100 yards,
Mm.
but you can see how Neighbors had that many catches for 115 and no touchdowns, but that touchdown to CD Lamb, it just makes his game that much more impactful.
Right.
Like, what was the good of Malik Neighbors having all those catches and yards if you couldn't get him in the end zone and we couldn't score in the red zone at all? So,
Right.
but you know that's how the cookie crumbles when it comes to us this year. I have a theory that it's going to be a lot of Malik Neighbors and a lot of nothing else unless Brian Dable do something. Um, it's kind of crazy to remember when we was talking about Daniel Jones and the injury thing, and maybe they
Mhm.
should bench him.
Mhm.
How do you bench somebody that plays like that though?
Right.
Like, what do you tell the media? What do you tell the locker room?
Right.
You're losing. He's not the reason you're losing, but you
Right.
have to bench him in order to think about the future. The people in the locker room don't not going to want to hear that.
Yeah. You're right.
No way Dexter Lawrence is going to want to hear that. He up there getting double teamed for another 12 games. Hell no, they don't want to hear that.
Right.
So I think the front office and Brian Dable have a really, really big decision to make on how this team is going to move forward.
Right.
Yeah, Dallas defense, they was flying all over the place. Their linebackers were at least. Our offensive line played so good that Michael Parsons kind of was non-existent too. Um, that a tribute to Andrew Thomas, who was a All Pro caliber left tackle. Demarcus Lawrence had one sack and a couple pressures, but he didn't have a big factor on the game either. Our offensive line did great. It's just that if you can't get the ball down the field and they're all check downs, that's why their linebackers have that many tackles in the first place.
Right.
So that's why their numbers are up. And like the defensive backfield for Dallas, they seem like they, didn't do anything. like they seemed like they had a pretty good day, even though we had two wide receivers with double digit receptions. Um, but that was it for Dallas. Like I didn't, I kind of wanted to make this a short show because the game was so far.
Right.
It seemed like it was 2 weeks
I
ago.
almost forgot about it. No, I was like, "Oh, right."
Yeah, it seemed like it was like we had a bye week because we didn't play Sunday.
Right.
So I can get into the next game real quick. We
Mhm.
play Seattle. These are our rankings for now after 4 games, which is pretty much a quarter of the season. We still ranked almost last in points and yards, but our defense obviously is coming up.
Mhm.
Our defense is in the top half of the league now, almost top 10 when it comes to yards.
Mhm.
So obviously, this means that our offense needs to score points, and that's the problem with the team.
Right. Right.
Um, Seattle is a very good team. They
Mhm.
just took their First loss last night to the Detroit Lions, which was a very, very good game. They still scored. They lost even though they scored almost 30 points in that one. So as you can see, they are top 10 in both points and yards.
Hmm.
I think they're number one in passing yards. So Geno Smith is over there just pitching and catching, pitching and catching. The same thing that he was supposed to do for us when he came in for Eli Manning that time.
Right, right.
We got rid of
He's the
him.
starting quarterback?
Yeah, Geno Smith is good. He was a starting
Wow.
quarterback. We played them last year too when they killed us. Um, he killed us last year, and Geno Smith is putting up like Pro Bowl caliber quarterback play since he's gotten away from the New York Giants. That's kind of saying something.
How many years is this? Like 11?
I forgot what year he got drafted, but yeah, it's close. He's
Wow.
been over for a decade, but he was the one who broke. He
Wow.
was the one who
Broke Eli Manning's
yep,
games. Yep.
yep, McAdoo put him as the
Hmm.
starter without telling ownership first. So the type of person Eli is, he didn't say anything either.
Hmm.
Because I think if he would have told ownership knowing the Maras, they would have been like, nah, don't do that.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but yeah, Gino is the one who broke the record, and now every time we play him, he kills us. So we gotta deal with Gino on Sunday. Their defense is pretty good too, top half in the league in both
Hmm.
categories. So we play a very, very good football team on Sunday. It's a late game, so be prepared for that. I think it's like 4:25,
I
4:30 ish.
believe so.
So it's a late game. I think we play in Seattle, so it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be real tough. I'm gonna put some team stats real quick on the Dallas game, then we can pretty much get out of here. Hold on one second, because that's all I had for
Hmm.
this slide. So yeah, man. Like if you look at the stats, we actually put up more yards than Dallas. 303 to 293. Not that by that much, but look at the
Passing.
passing yards compared to the
Hmm.
rushing yards. That's what tells you the game right
Wow.
there. The first downs was pretty much um, even. The third down, the fourth down, we had more of those than they
Hmm.
did. Total plays 51 to 65. The sacks were the same. We only punted once.
Wow.
We only have four penalties, and the time of possession was like more than 10 minutes, and they had the ball. So
Wow.
losing a game like that just means we couldn't score touchdowns, and it has to be a reason why we couldn't put points on the board. That
Right.
doesn't make any sense. We beat them in pretty much every category that you can name, but either beat them or even to, but we lose by
Hmm.
5 points.
Wow.
Stuff like that, to be honest, get coaches fired
Right.
because that means your team played good enough to win, but you didn't. So
Right.
now a general manager, but not the general manager because they're pretty much in lockstep with each other. The owner should say, "Why the hell did we lose this game?"
Right.
So we'll see how that unfolds. It's been another show. It's been another week, another game. I don't know what to tell people, man. This is pretty much what we've been, I've been saying. Like it's going to be either bad losses or maybe close losses. But at the end of the day, if we do want our quarterback and we do want a high draft pick to pick that quarterback, these are the type of losses that we're going to have to go through. Like it ain't gonna be sunshine and rainbows when it come to these games
Hmm.
anymore.
Hmm.
It's gonna be we're gonna be pissed off for the most part.
Right.
Oh look, even Wonder Woman come out. It sounds like a coaching issue. See,
I saw. I didn't read the article, but I saw the headline. Um, Dave Dable giving the Giants reasons to fire him or something like
yep,
that.
yep. I said it before. Like the one of them videos that I sent or I played last week where he was talking about something. I was like, yeah, he sound like he either want to get fired or he just knows he's going to get fired. It was a exchange that him and Jordan Renan, salute to Jordan Renan, he's a beat writer for the New York Giants. I think he asked him about like what area Because Brian Dable said that even though it was a tough loss, obviously a tough
Mhm.
loss, uh, he did see areas of improvement. So
Mhm.
that was in the press conference right after the game. But
Mhm.
then they always have a press conference on Tuesday, not Tuesday. It either came out early this morning or it was yesterday that he asked Brian Dable, well, you said that there were improvements now that you saw the tape or whatever, because that's what his thing is always. I got to see the tape. I got to see the tape. So he asked him the next day, what did you see that was improvement? Like he didn't give an answer.
Right.
Like he couldn't give an answer. Like he really bullshitted his way through the answer. He
Yeah.
couldn't say what he saw that was an improvement for like the weeks leading up to that one.
Yeah. He don't give you much in these press conferences anyway.
Which I don't mind, to be honest. I
Yeah.
actually like that. I don't think any coach is going to just sit there and run the gap as a football coach. I don't really see
Right.
that often.
Right.
So I don't really care that he don't give you anything, but your answers still can't be kind of, I don't know, not thoughtful at all. Like you got to at least know what you're talking about, or at least sound like you know what you're talking about. Bill Belichick ain't give nobody nothing for like 20 years. He on shows now up there. He up there bebopping, like he up there chatting and stuff. Like he up there giving his personality. He's smiling, showing his teeth and stuff. Like Bill Belichick is a completely different person than when he was um, coaching. So
Yeah.
I don't mind coaches not saying anything. That's not the problem. But when you do say something, you gotta. You kind of sound like he's going to get fired. But we'll see.
Did we expect to win this Cowboys game? And did was there an expectation that what's the expectations for the Giants?
The expectations, like from the beginning of the season, we kind of know that this team was only going to. At least I thought at least 5, 6 games win. That's it.
Right.
All season out of 18 weeks. Uh, but it's showing that we are in games that we shouldn't be in. Like Dallas obviously isn't as good as they were last year.
Right.
Like they don't look as good, and I think they know they're not as good either. Like it's been rumblings in their locker room as well. So you have to at least win the games you're supposed to win as you're playing. So that even though the expectations can be low, expectations change if we're only down 3 points in the fourth quarter and you
Yeah,
can't
that's
score
true.
a touchdown.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it's a little different.
Yeah.
It's the same game with the what's the last game we played? Oh, the Cleveland game. The Cleveland game we wasn't expecting to win that game, but we
Right.
won
Right.
because we beat them. Like they're not as good as they were last year.
Right.
So we should have beat Dallas. We had no there was no reason that we should have lost that game, and we lost. So the ownership got to be like, well, why did we lose? Like it's not a player thing anymore. Daniel Jones didn't throw a whole bunch of picks. We didn't have a whole bunch of turnovers. We have
We couldn't run
weapons.
the ball though.
Couldn't run the ball.
That
That's it.
run, that offensive line, the run blocking hasn't been
True.
wasn't good yesterday. Like, what do you think the difference in the game was? Do you think it was the play calling? Do you think it was the run blocking? Do you think it was not getting in the end zone? And why weren't we getting in the end zone? Were we not getting in the end zone because of the calls we played, or that they weren't executing?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything.
Mm,
And since it is a little bit of everything, you have to blame the head coach. That's the problem. Like it's not a player thing. Like if they are very good at pass blocking, but they're not good at run blocking, you're going up against the worst run defensive team in the league. How do you only run for 24 yards or 26 yards on 24 carries?
but but the coach is not out there blocking though.
But he's the one calling the plays though. And he's the one designing the plays also.
But I no, I get. I'm just playing devil advocate
Okay,
here.
I got you.
The players still have to execute it though.
That is true.
The offensive line has to execute. Unless we're saying that I'm not sure how it works on the defensive line. Is there like well, yeah, that's true. Because if you call a play, they have responsibilities and
Hmm.
run blocking responsibilities. So
Hmm.
unless we're saying that he wasn't calling the right running plays.
It's just certain situations like when it comes to player error or being efficient when it comes to play calling and stuff, right? Like on the ones that Daniel Jones missed the throws, that's an execution error.
Right.
One time we went down to the red zone on fourth down, he goes for the field goal instead of going for the end zone when we were like on the 2 or 3 yard line.
Mhm.
Like if we're losing the game, our defense is playing well, like very well. Why didn't you go for it?
Right.
But you went for it the same exact situation in another game.
Right.
And then when the reporter asks you, well, why did you go for it? You say, well, it's early. Well, it was early the last time when you went for it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if I'm asking you that question, if you give me that answer, well, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense because you went for it the last time you did that.
Right.
So that's when it comes like a coaching issue. When we played Washington, not having a backup kicker when you knew your kicker was
Oh
hurt
yeah.
going in, that is a coaching issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like some of this stuff, you're absolutely right. Whether playing devil's advocate or not, like the players are the ones that's on the field, and the execution definitely matters. But if you're not putting them in the right position to win, that's when it comes a coaching issue.
No, I agree, but I'm just going back to Thursday's game.
Hmm.
Did we lose because of the run plays he called, or were they the correct run plays given the situation,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
just didn't execute it?
yeah. That remains to be seen. I wouldn't know whether they were the right running plays, whether if you should have called a counter compared to like a belly or something like that.
Right.
It's just in certain situations, like if they didn't execute properly, why didn't they execute properly? If that was the game plan, if Dallas is the worst running defense. So, like, if your players didn't execute your plays, because remember, he's the play caller now, too.
Yeah.
He's the one who designed the offense. He calls the plays as it's going. Like, he can't even put that on his offensive coordinator anymore.
Right.
So, yeah, he got to take the blame for that, for not putting up any points, for kicking 5 field goals. Like, we kicked 5 field goals. All 15 points, it was no touchdowns. We kicked 5 field goals. So, if you're going to be the play caller, you were brought here because of your offensive mind. You're calling the plays, regardless of execution, that's going to be put on you. Because if your players didn't execute, you're also the head coach. Why didn't they execute properly?
Dang. I mean, sometimes you listen. You've coached. I've coached. You
Hmm.
tell the players, listen. This is what we doing.
Hmm.
This is what we've practiced.
Hmm.
Now this is the time to do it. And it's like,
They forgot what you even said. We've been working. Yo, said we've been working on it all week. We've been working on it all week. The game time. It's time. The time is now.
right, right,
This dude go left instead of right. You like what? Did you just go left instead of right after practicing that for a whole
right.
week? So I understand it. I get it. I
But
get it. I get it.
statistically, when you looked at I was surprised. 10. Well, I shouldn't say I was surprised because the Giants stayed on the field a lot. So it
Hmm.
was like plus 10 minutes.
We plus 10 minutes without running a ball successfully.
Right,
Like, how does that
right.
happen? It doesn't really make sense, man.
Well, this is how it makes sense. We 59 passes to neighbors,
Yep.
but we don't get in the end zone.
It's almost like he substituted the running game with the short passing game.
The short passing game, correct? Yep,
That's all.
yep.
That's all it means. In
He could
football,
barely get back to the line after a long one. Now he got a short one. I
right?
said, it's like neighbors again.
Yep. And for him to be, and plus, last play of the game, he drops the ball, but he drops it because he's knocked unconscious on the sideline.
Yeah. Wow.
A lot of that has to do with the amount of times you threw him the ball,
Right.
like putting him in situations like that.
Right.
It's just terrible way to put a young kid in a situation like that.
Right.
He shouldn't be put in the situation that he has to win the game for y'all.
Right.
This is his fourth NFL game in his life. and he leads the league in receptions. Why? Like he leads the league in receptions, not just the division, not just the conference. He leads everybody in the NFL with like 35 catches or something like that.
Right.
I think he's like second in yards and tied for second in touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like
And what
it's other people on the team.
you couldn't tell. Um, and it says here he's the first player in the Super Bowl era with at least 30 receptions, 300 receiving yards, three touchdown catches in your first four career games.
Hmm.
That's impressive, but I got to tell you, these stat people, they always finding something. This the first time he sat on the bench with his legs crossed and then came into the game and
Yep.
caught a touchdown
Yep.
within 30 seconds of getting on the field. I mean, they
Yep.
always coming out with
Yep.
something.
It's all analytics. But if it's the person on your team, you want to hear all them
Right,
stats. But
right, 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 right.
for anybody else, you don't give a damn. I remember they used to talk about like you know what that started? It started with like analytics and stuff, and like LeBron James every time he broke something
Hmm.
because he was always the youngest to break something. So they
Right.
always added something like that. He's the youngest to do this and that and that. So they probably pretty much moved that to football with the analytics and stuff.
But they become, I mean, it's true
Hmm.
stuff, but it's like the first one in the first 28 minutes in the league. It's like it's like
Stuff we're not supposed to care about.
it's four games. I mean,
Hmm.
it's cool, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Because it's a very long season. All of this
yeah,
stuff could be for not like I'm not saying that he is going to fall off or anything. I think Malik
right.
Nabis is
Okay,
very, very talented player, and as long as he stays healthy, he will be a monster in this league. But
right,
yeah, you're right. Like it really doesn't matter what he do in the first four games of his career. Like it matters how he projects later on. Like
right.
especially if we're when we become like a team that's in a winning situation. Like, how's he going to act then? What is he? How is he going to act when adversity hits?
Right.
This is the most losing he's ever done in his life.
Right. And it's just four games.
Just four games. He won
Right.
in three. He ain't never been 1-3.
Right. It says he's on pace for 149 catches. He gonna get that in the
Yeah,
next game.
he faced to break every record in the NFL.
Right, right, right,
So we
right,
keep feeding him the ball. Like he's going to break by like week 8. Like
right,
he's not going
right.
to have any legs left, man.
Yeah,
So he
yeah.
already got a concussion in week 4. We don't even know 100% if he's playing on
Wow.
Sunday. Like we won't know that until maybe Friday. Sometimes, a lot of times they have like the injury report on Friday, depending on when they play. But
Hmm.
a lot of times they'll sneak one out on Saturday as well, especially if
Right,
it's like a late entry. Like
right,
they have to do that, um, just for a competition's sake and betting also. So you
right.
wouldn't, we won't know if unless they just completely rule him out. I'm pretty sure we wouldn't know until the very last minute, which is probably Friday or Saturday.
Okay. It's a late game on Sunday. One
Mhm.
question before we leave.
Sure.
What is the I hope I got it right, the 22 report. Like when you hear the commentators, they be like, I don't not the commentators, the
Um,
content creators the next day, they might say, you know what? I'm not going to be able to know what should have happened on that particular play
mhm.
until I see the 22 report or something like that. I'm like, what is that?
It is called all 22,
All 22.
all 22 film, which means like when you're watching a football game on TV. That's why a lot of people who really, really know football really think fans don't know what they're looking at
Right,
because a lot of fans don't get this. When you what you're seeing on TV is not what you're seeing in totality of the field.
right.
A broadcast angle is completely different than all 22. All 22 angles, which is they have it for every game, even in college.
Is
It's
that
always
every player on the field? There's 22
yes.
players. Okay.
That's why they call it all 22. It's a
Okay.
higher angle, depending on what school or
Hmm.
team it is. That you can. It's an actual picture that you can see all 22 players.
Gotcha.
When you're watching on broadcast, when you're watching on TV, it's impossible. They don't have that.
Right.
You can't do that. So when fans be on Twitter, what Daniel Jones uh, only went through his first progression and he threw the ball. They don't really know that because you can't even see what he's looking at.
Right.
You don't know that. You just know he threw it real quick and it was intercepted.
Right.
You don't really know why it was intercepted until you go to the all 22 tape and
Right.
see exactly what his wide receiver was doing on that play.
Right. Gotcha.
So that's what all 22 means. Like it's scout film. Like when you're scouting players, like in
Right.
high school or college, whatever, that's the type of film that you use to do it. They don't use broadcasting stuff.
Right. No.
And you can
Yeah.
get that on because I watch it when I watch the game, I watch it the regular way and I do the all 22. Now they have on NFL Plus, you get to watch the game and they have all 22 film on there.
But you don't watch the game from that perspective.
You can, yeah.
The entire you can watch the entire game from that perspective, all 22. Wow. That's
Depending,
interesting.
especially depending on who's it for. Like with the NFL, yeah, you can. For colleges, depending on the college or how big the college is, yeah, you can
Right.
too. It all depends. You just have to
Right.
find it.
Wow. Okay.
That's what scouts look at. They don't use TV broadcasters to scout players at all.
Right.
They have to use all 22 film.
Right.
So whenever you see that, that's what they mean.
Okay. Yeah, because they
Hey,
be like, I can't make a definitive,
hmm
analysis of this. I gotta watch the all 22 to
yep,
see, particularly when it comes to the quarterback,
hmm
um, to see what his options were, or what
hmm
his reads were. Did he rush it? Whatever. I'm not gonna be able to know until I see the all 22.
yep.
I was like,
That
what's the all 22?
that is part of the reason why I stopped doing the live watch-alongs.
Mm,
And I always tell you that, yeah, I watched this game 3 times
right.
because I'm going back and actually watching all that stuff.
Right.
Because if you don't, you really wouldn't know. Like you really wouldn't know.
But the other thing I like about moving into Tuesday, Jarrell, is the next day. Oh, you get all the analysis on YouTube. You soon as you
Yep, yep,
it's like, then you and then all of the articles, and then it gives you a different perspective, gives you
hmm
the stats, the this,
right.
so yeah,
Because most of those writers or most of those people that watch the all 22 tape, they've already watched it, and you can really give like good opinions and good analysis on it. If you're
right,
just watching on TV, don't get me wrong, you can still learn a lot, and
right,
you see everything that's happening with
right, right,
involving the play, but you don't see everything involving the players, if that makes
right.
sense. Like you don't
Yeah,
know what the left guard did. You don't know what the left guard did. The camera isn't following what the left guard did unless the ball is hiked and the quarterback is right there.
right,
But on the all 22, you could they even have it on some scouting websites. They even got like a marker like you're a coach. Like you can actually move your cursor and actually put like a red circle on the player and the camera will follow that player.
wow,
Depending on the website you go to. Those are a lot of time paid though, like you gotta pay for it.
right,
But yeah, that's what professional coaches use. They don't just be watching the game on TV.
yeah, wow,
Salute the Almighty Finesse. Salute.
yeah.
We about to get off, bro. But salute the
So
Almighty Finesse. He said he can't wait for Knicks basketball. See,
neither can I.
he went straight to the Giants chat to say how bad he want the Knicks to play. Exactly. Like it's definitely basketball season for us. Because our football team isn't that good, I can't wait for Knicks basketball to
I
start.
can't wait for next basketball either. I
Can't wait.
cannot wait.
So, any final words, Steph? I know we're going on Thursday, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're definitely going on Thursday. No, just shout out to you, for your consistency and creating this space for, for Giant fans. And yeah, let's go Giants. I mean, listen, this is actually, I know it's heartbreaking,
hmm
but be competitive. You win their really good game, then you lose and you get that good pick.
See,
So now
that's what
you
I'm
getting
saying.
both. You get competitive basketball. I mean,
Yep.
competitive football. You lose at the end. Ah, it's so disappointing. You're
Yep.
still on track though. You're still on
Yep.
track to get that top 5 pick.
Yep. Sooner or later, I'm gonna start talking. When the year is still early. Like we
Yeah.
haven't even done half the season yet. Like we're
No,
only at a
no.
quarter. So, like once we start losing games and losing games, losing games, I'm gonna start bringing like college players in and maybe having profiles on Cam Ward or Shador Sanders and stuff like that. But there's no point of doing it now because you might mess
That's
around and
true.
keep winning games. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can listen. Daniel Jones has turned it around. You can argue, a few, a different play call here, a different execution here, a catch here, and we're 2-2.
yep.
You can make a case for even 3-1.
I
You
was
know?
about to say we should be 3-1 right now.
Yeah.
We should have won that Washington game and this game. Like the only game that we definitely should have lost was the first one in Minnesota. They beat our ass. But
Yeah.
the other games, we was putting foot to them. Like we only lost because of like we talked about coaching errors,
Hmm.
stuff that could have been fixed. But it
Yeah.
is what it is, man. Salute to everybody. Glad y'all can make it tonight. Wonder Woman,
Salute Wonder
Kareem.
Woman.
Salute to Wonder Woman. Salute to Kareem.
Kareem Grant.
Almighty Finesse.
Salute,
And we got
brother.
a new person. They ain't really put none. They put in it. I don't know who that is. Florian Goki.
Goki.
Well, salute
Salute to you.
and like and subscribe to the channel.
For sure.
This diehard Giants will be here next Tuesday after the Sunday night game for the Seahawks. But no, not Sunday night. Sunday afternoon. I think it's at 4:30. So
Yeah, it is. I'm in Jamaica next week, so I won't be here.
okay. Oh, oh. Steph always on a trip. I like that.
I'm gonna miss the preseason.
When the preseason start?
Sunday,
What date is that?
the
Hold on.
sixth. The sixth. The
The
first Nick
sixth.
preseason game is the sixth.
So it's only one. It's only 1 week of like training camp, and then the preseason just start on Sunday.
Yeah. And matter of fact, Minnesota's is Thursday.
Hmm.
They only got
Wait,
a few days in.
wait. Like their first preseason game is Thursday, and they training camp started today. Like their
Yeah.
media day was today, right?
No, the media day was the
Yesterday.
30th. Oh, that was
Yesterday.
yesterday. That was
Yesterday.
yesterday. The media day was yesterday.
That's a little crazy.
It is. It
Wow.
is. It
All
is.
right. Well, salute. Steph won't be here up
I
there.
won't be here.
Eating beef patties and jerk chicken and
And
stuff like
jerk
that. And I
chicken.
mean, eat some jerk chicken for me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Every day I'm gonna have me some jerk chicken.
What's up? On the beach. So sleep, everybody, man. We out.